little children, I'll take thee away into a land of enchantment. Come, little children, the time's come to play here in my garden of shadows.
Hello, I'm Rinya, aka Media Adaptation, and welcome back to Moderation's 31 Days of Halloween. It's time we go back to our roots, and visit the world of international horror. Yes, there's a really big project out on the horizon, but that'll come out in a few weeks. But right now, we're off to Thailand, and the 2008 film, simply called Coming Soon. We start off with the scene of a girl waking up in an abandoned house, tied up. Her captor makes herself known. Samba, an old woman with a limp. She tries to run, but is recaptured. She wakes up again tied to a chair around a table with other children who's had their eyes gouged out, so that they would mistake her for their mother. The same almost befalls her, until a mob tracks her down. They beat her, cut her face like Kuchisaki Onna, and then finally string her up and let her choke. We then cut to a woman watching this movie, before leaving and finding her boyfriend outside, the person who made the film. They chat for a bit, before warning her not to watch the uncut version of Samba's death scene. She goes back into the now empty room, as the scene plays out. The movie stops, but her shadow remains, as she turns around and succumbs to her fate. We then cut to her main, Chan. Well, at least by my subtitles anyway, as several other sources call him Shane, a projectionist who has a gambling problem, who had a falling out with his girlfriend, Som, and he awkwardly tries to patch things up between them. But it's clear that she's not going for it. He's still friends with her brother, who had been hired to bootleg the new horror movie, entitled Evil Spirits. So they set things up, but he falls asleep. And when he comes to, the brother is gone. But he also left his camera. He checks the footage later, and he only made it about halfway through the film, before the camera falls and he runs off. After he fails to pick up, he checks his apartment, finding footprints leading to a closet, but with nothing inside. He gets hassled by the people who want their movie, so he goes back that night to finish it. He tries to call again, but then hears the ringtone. He looks around inside, but sees nothing. He looks on screen, and a different set of victims are around the table, all with their eyes gouged out. And there is the brother, still holding the phone. He gets the heck out of there, but the ghost follows him home. And then we find out why the two broke up. Again, he had a gambling problem, which he used the winnings to buy drugs. And one night, to pay his debts, he stole an antique watch from her, and in the struggle, accidentally hit her. So when he tries to explain what happened to her brother, it comes across untrustworthy. And when he tries to keep her from watching the film, it also has the undertones of abuse. So again, she's not buying it. We find out, yes, he's still into gambling, but he's using the money to buy back the watch. And after another run-in with a ghost almost leaves him catatonic, she starts looking into his claims, and learns that the movie is based on a real event. The legends say that her body was never found. So they track down the place and look around. He falls through the floorboards, and then we get a nice little sequence. The door opens up, and Som takes his hand, trying to lead him out, only for a rope to come down as she's still at the top of the hole. Very simple, but also effective. The police come and take him to the hospital. They're asked what they were doing there, and half-heartedly say trying to find Samba's body. And then the doc looks puzzled. There is no body. The police came and cut her down. She's still alive in the psych ward. After looking at the photo, he realizes something. The ghost doesn't look like the real Samba. She looks like the actress playing her. They go to the film company, but they find that it's been vacant for a week. So they break in and find the behind the scenes. After all day of filming, the safety line finally snaps after so much use, and she dies during filming. It wasn't anyone's fault. The others tried to get her down, but it was far too late. So the ghost is that of the actress, which is also why she can change her appearance. He goes back to destroy the movie on his own, but also runs into the guys again. During the confusion, he gets inside and burns the film. But when they leave, the scene repeats. And after the third time of this, he decides to use confusion to punch the guy. But it just turns out to be a display model, which then morphs into her when his back is turned. He runs and finds himself in the maintenance closet, and a strange door that appears. Sam finally catches up, and goes looking for him, and finds the film being played. The door opens, and he steps into the scene with the victims, as hands come around and gouge out his eyes. We flash forward to opening night, as the film is being played. Either the burnt part was also faked, or the company just made more than one copy. But a new set of victims are made, and a girl Sam is shown dead behind her. This film isn't that bad. It wasn't groundbreaking or anything, but it was a pretty solid movie. There are a lot of really nice jump scares and atmosphere. This one got slammed when it came out. There was parts that was kind of ringish, and some slipmouth stuff as well. Given the landscape back then, yeah, it was kind of dime a dozen, so it kind of got lost in everything else. But there is some merit coming back to it a few years later. But that about does it for this video. If you have any topics for future projects, then feel free to post them down in the comments below. And while you're down there, why not like, and make sure you still subscribe to the channel. Still slowly recovering from the deletion. But anyway, I'll see you guys later. Anyway, I'm Runya, invite you to join us again for the next night.
Weep not, poor children, for life is this way, murdering beauty and passion. Hush now, dear children, it must be this way.